What is that? The silent house. This is it. This is what I want to know. What the... I don't care about anything else. I want to know what the fuck is that. What's inside and what's its purpose and why is it here and why can't I climb these wooden stairs and just knock? And there's someone inside, obviously. It's glowing. What is it? What? I want to know. Okay. It's a graveyard, obviously. So I reckon some dark shit going on inside the house. Maybe some, I don't know, maybe cannibals, maybe necrophil. Yeah. It's a dark world, and everyone's free to do whatever they want. Okay, the necromancer, like the first, like the first couple of minutes, what I felt like when playing the necromancer was that probably they have already started working on the 4 way back when we got, like, if you remember Diablo 3, the Rise of the Necromancer DLC pack and all that. And it was what, in 2017, 18, something like that. I don't know. They've probably already started working on D4 by then. I'm sure hope they had, because otherwise it's hard to imagine that they could develop the game in such a short period of time. That would be concerning on a whole different level, but that's not the point. It feels like the Necromancer in D4 now feels exactly as the Necromancer in D3, and just like the corpses and everything is just and it's an impression that I've had ever since, like, from the trailers and from the reveal of the Necromancer when we got like that. I don't know if it's one on BlizzCon or anything, but I just thought that it looks and exactly like the D3 Necro, and when I finally got to play it, it's just the same sort of splish splash snap in it. I don't know how to explain it. Like the explosions and all the blood shit and the skills. Yeah, the summons are a bit different, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of. It looks like the D3 DLC, like with the Necromancer, it was kind of like the bridge. Already, the bridge was being built between the two games, and this is quite evident in how the Necro plays out in that one. So for yourself, the skills and all that, I didn't. I'm not like a super turbo nerd, and I cannot gnaw at all the bones of all that. I cannot like consume and digest every bit of like build variety and possibility out there that's been like I've tried with Reap. I did try to do like a back and forth that Reaper thing. It felt quite good. I wanted to go like bone splinters a bit in the beginning, and then I like hemorrhage and decompose, and I tried with decompose and the blood mist thing with without the explosions and all that. And it feels okay until you get to know that there are like two curses only. So what the I mean, uh, I know that in D2, I don't want to make all these comparisons all the time, and I just don't want it to like sound like I'm the the next average guy that wants D4 to be Diablo 2 and to be Path of Exile and to look at how good Last Epoch's been doing without having all that budget and all that shit that's bound to like rise as an argument or anything, but just not okay. You don't need like that much curses you don't want to copy the to use skill tree, but like at least there's no indication whatsoever that that game's gonna have something to do with resistances on monsters or anything. Like they just completely, or at least what I'm seeing is I haven't checked these, but it revolves around overpower and damage over time. And uh, I haven't played much with the wizard, and but anyway, there's no like you don't have lower resist. You know, in D2 you could use lower resist at some point and just because you know you have it, you need it because can't fucking kill the boss or anything like that. And yeah, you have like two curses and some stuff that you could synergize with that. Like what was it like? Increased shadow damage to enemies afflicted by both the Grepify and Iron Maiden. And yeah, you get to use your two curses, which are the only curses that you get access to, and you get that bonus. But this feels a bit underwhelming. I just wish that we could, I don't know, a little bit more like it. Yeah, this is, it could branch out, as I've already mentioned in one of the previous video that I put out. And yeah, I really hope that they could branch out. They could add more to that. This is just the bone. This is just, you know, the spine of the skill tree or whatever. Make it so that it is a good base. Make it so that it is a foundation that you can build upon and just branch out on that one and add new ones. I've seen people suggesting like different masteries, like you specking into that one and then investing something like, I don't know, after you rotate your paragon shit and get some, unlock something with the paragons. I don't know, unlock something further on after level 50 or something and just unlock a teeny whiny like specialization pathing through like that. You want to be like a curse heavy support necromancer. Like the phone's ringing, let me just uh so you want to go with curses, unlock something that just unlock, that just branches out like veins out different curses, and you get some different, you have those base, the most important ones. Let's say, okay, these are the most important ones. You have like the Iron Maiden and Grepify, but then you wanna go more heavy on curses. Fucking just let me uh let me just see what this is all about. Second. But yeah, um that's what I would wish to see further on. Some more, you know, depth and customization to that one. Because right now, if you get to a level 100 and if you're being showered with skill points and you get, I don't know, from the Paragon, can you get skill points from the Paragon? I don't know, maybe. You can only get one of these. You can spec one of these. You can spec one of these. And then what are you gonna put your points into? You're just gonna dump them into everything. Probably. That's not very unique. I mean, you're not gonna see many unique classes that way. Just people who hadn't put their last points into a meaningless thing like read or something, sever. I don't know. So yeah, this is luck. We can't talk much about that until we get a look at the Paragon. But yeah, Book of the Dead. At least what I like is that you, because at the first I thought, a why do I have to use these skeletons? Why do I need to like? Why am I being forced into being a summoner, necromancer? Like you're not being forced to being a summoner, but you always like this is your thing. You're a mojo. This is what the necromancer is, and you got that Book of the Dead. And I was, because most of the time when I play necros and in games like Last Epoch and in Path of Exile, and I rarely play Summoner type because I've grown in that time when Necromancers were an anathema to, to online play, and we all know the Legomancer memes and all that. And but hey, you can. It's I mean, time's passed, and summons are not liking the game like they used to, but at least you can just sacrifice them. You can like get some bonus for not having them. This is good. I like that one. But they're pretty strong, so you're gonna be missing out on shit if you don't use them. Anyway, the golem, whatever, just having both of these, like the golem and that kind of uh uses up to two different skill slots. So again, I wish that we had more skill slots, like a separate action bar, support action bar, or whatever, something that we could just swap, switch, or keybind something differently. Like I just want to keybind my curses on something else. I don't want to use the mode. You know, this is a console thing, probably, and if they make it for PC differently, console players are going to be like handicapped and the disadvantage, and this is probably not a good thing to do. So I don't know what the solution is. I really wish that we had another action bar and more skill binds, just to cast more shit, make use of the +1 to these. Maybe I have +1 to, as I've already made an example of, +1 to teleport on the wizard. You don't want to have it here. You want to have it. You have it from your items. You just want to have a button to press and you teleport without it taking any of these. Utility, defensive, and offensive, and ultimates, and whatever. So yeah. But again, this is something that I'm just repeating from my last video. And as far as like, yeah, it's a good thing that we have a beta now, because we can get to see shit like the blood mist thing. I couldn't get that item now. I can't really show what it means, but basically it's a everyone knows it. You get blood mist detonates corpses. You're invulnerable by being on blood mist, because it's like this is what the skill does. Where it is, yeah, you're immune. You detonate all the corpses. You consume them by that. Like even if you have another synergy with that, you consume them. So there's basically a consumption element in that, and you can still buff your damage with consuming corpses. You consume a lot of corpses. You pop them. You do damage, and you lower your cooldown by what it was. The range was between 1 and 3 seconds. I guess on a two-hander it's gonna be more. On a one-hander it's gonna be like from 1 to 1.5, from 0.5 to 1. I don't know. Anyway, the thing is that it's good that we're having a beta now, because things like that could get looked at. This is insane. This is not something that people have like gone out of the way and found a wonky interaction that works, and something like in PoE history, like unintended mechanic between two like disparate mechanics that no one in his sane mind would ever think about. And sometimes there's that one guy, like he just finds it on, stumbles upon something like that on by chance, or he's just good at finding such things. I don't know, maybe, but and you get something like permanent immortality, like permanent immortal. We've seen those in PoE throughout the years, and we've had several nerfs and several changes to skills that like. But this, like having that one straight like written on your item, it basically says that by doing this you break the game, and it's on a fucking item, and you have it like you can just put it on. You don't need to think much about it. You just, I don't know how that got into that phase of the game, into that stage of the game where like we're nearing release and all that. But yeah, And I can only guess that we're seeing at a fraction of these aspects, and once the game releases, we're gonna get more of these, and shit's gonna be wild. I suppose that there's gonna be like pretty nutty and insane interactions that they would have to like, I don't know, take the servers down for just a moment and just delete that shit, because I don't know. It's gonna be bonkers if stuff like that ever gets into the game, into the final place. Because yeah, it's stupid. Apart from that, my main gripe, or I don't know, I'm not a hardcore player, and I'm not like hardcore. I don't mean playing hardcore. I mean like ultra theory crafting nerd with the Excel spreadsheets and the math and all that, because I can't do math, and I'm just, my brain doesn't function that way, and I'm an idiot. And but at least like I appreciate logic and certain things in a game. Like I don't really know how to express that one. So what I'm talking about is weapon damage. Okay, so first off, what we were complaining about years back, like when we saw that by 3 day come cinematic, and when we were like all struck by how awesome that game's gonna be, like this is the best cinematic, and yeah, Blizzard. And we got like the review, and after the smoke cleared, and after the dust has settled, and like we saw what we saw that Green Arrow good thingies, the console shit, attack, defense, and like what I attack power item. I don't know, attack power, or was it like just attack and defense back then? I don't know. There weren't any weapon damage ranges. There weren't like attack speed. May I don't remember. I'm not gonna. And then like people were, oh no, don't do that. No, you don't want that in a Diablo. Okay, so they revamped it. We've had like several dev updates. We've got like, they were transparent about it. They went out later. They said like, we're doing this, that we're doing that. We're removing ancestral ultra giga, those legendaries, uniques or whatever. We're removing that one. I guess they aren't, because I think we still have them on, but it's just a different thing. And so we end up with, what is that? We end up with weapon damage and armor, which is defense, but bro, it's defense that also mitigates 30% damage of your non-fist damage, and it's but same thing basically, renamed defense armor. Anyway, I don't even think that resistances they'll probably matter. Okay, they'll probably matter at some point. Where do I have to look at it? Okay. So yeah, you got some resistances, okay. We can only, time will tell that, but attack power and shit. I've looked at, Maxroll has a good page about that one. If you're wondering how weapon damage works and how it, because I cannot explain it with all the formulas and all that. This is something beyond me, and I'm glad that there are people out there doing that for us. But from my personal perspective, and from a like completely logical point of view, and a guy who's played PoE and Diablo 2 and all that, and it would only make sense that, for example, I'm having a sword. So this is a sword, right? This is where do we got like, where the fuck do we have a sword? I guess this is a sword, Dark Blade, rare sword. This should not give you any damage on Blood Surge, for example. This should be like physical damage by hitting with it, physical damage, slashing, whatever. Don't this and it could have on it like whatever shadow damage. Okay, you're doing a shadow spell. Okay, you get the 4% shadow damage from that one, but you're not getting shit from the fucking steel it's made of, because you're casting a spell. You're not hitting the stupid gold with the sword. You're hitting it with a spell. So this weapon damage per second is just another thing name for attack green arrow good. This is just basically the same. I think, for example, in I don't want to compare it, but if you wanna scale your fire damage in PoE, you can you need to have flat fire damage on the web. For example, your wand doesn't like the damage on the wand, like the physical damage on the wand doesn't go towards the your fireball, for example. I mean, PoE is not a good example because it's just too complicated in the bloat and in the mechanics are just. But okay, let's look at Diablo 2. If you're playing a sorceress or a necromancer and you get your damage from +2 skills, get your damage from shit like fire damage and but you're not getting it from a sword. Otherwise, you would be just farming with. You would be just as good with an Alibaba's and having all that MF on you. Why, like so basically, I could not find I could not find a single scenario where I could use a one-handed weapon with an offhand, and that combined having more damage on my skills, giving me more damage on the skills, than a two-hander with a inflated number of damage per second. So I don't know. I know that these stats matter, like intelligence gives you damage. Okay, this is like again a Diablo 3 thing. I mean, your main stat, you wanted to scale like as much as main stat as you could. Like this is what you're looking for on all the items. You were just pumping. Like at some point when I stopped playing, you could. I think there was like that grind where you something with the gems. I don't remember anything, but basically you could just grind on forever the main stat on your weapon or something like that. And that's what people sought after, like main stat, damage, and then what? Attack speed, crit damage, crit strike. I don't know, cooldown reduction probably. But the vulnerable damage, the crit strike damage, all that, okay, it matters. Basic skill damage, this is basic skill. Core skill, this is core skill. If you had like a shitload of core skill damage, intelligence, and crit strike damage on a one-handed and low damage per second, like the white one on the top, and then you add an offhand with a shitload of that as well, like core skill damage, intelligence. I don't know. Maybe you could get, but I couldn't. Like I was, it's probably the tooltip is not as descriptive as this. I tried to figure it out with Max Roll's explanation of things. It makes sense, like the percentages and all that, but still, it's always lower. And I've tried it. I can't like go around and just test all that now and just while I'm speaking and while I'm not. You've probably noticed it. You've probably tried it out yourselves, but basically, I could not find a solution to like having more like being more beneficial with a one-hander and an offhand than by just having more weapon damage, which scales my spell. I don't know. This is, you know, we've yet to see how the higher level items function, but for now, it's like And again, the two-hander always gives a better, like, yeah, it's natural because you get more the, you could have two legendary aspects if you had, yeah, like two slots equipped, and now you have just one and you can. But yeah, this is probably something that I think it's maybe just me, but it's more of a Diablo 3 thing. Like this is more like Diablo 3 than anything else, and I don't think that I like it that much. But I cannot like ignore the game just for that being AI. It's a thing that I. But anyway, and the next thing that Blizzard loves, nah, I kind of find hard to swallow is the the idea of giving conditional benefits, conditional, let's say, advantages, percentages, damages, and all that. Like we hate it in D3 when you had like when you use this skill with that one, or like I don't know, something like that. When you crowd control an enemy, do that much damage, and it's basically telling you like I'm not the first. Like I probably this is the thing that you are hearing about like for thousands of times, and like every D4 review right now, and every D3 review back in the day. This was the thing, like the percentages, the numbers, the inflated numbers, all the way that the devs are like trying to tell you that you're gonna use that weapon, that item, because it supplements your skill. And this, you want to use whirlwind, you want to use that one, you want to use like meteor. This is the item for meteor. This is the set bonus for meteor. This is what you're gonna use, and there's no way you can just escape from that because there's no other option. And this is just the damn. You're getting the whole package with that. And I can see a tendency towards that one here. There are some like exceptions, and I don't think I have the perfect ones for examples here, but for let's just say there are some like where you could like okay, we can check them in the Codex of Power actually. And let's say there was okay, I'm gonna go with the blood misting. I don't know if I can find it in the, because some of these are like, you know, some of these, can I search the blood mist? Can I find uh I don't know if it's probably from a weapon only. Maybe. Because I can't see it here. I don't know if it's like unlocked or if it's just because there are certain ones that you can just get from weapons. Yeah, I can't find. Okay, just the example is the same with the blood mist, where you get like invulnerable, you get the cooldown reduction, and you pop corpses along with it. So if okay, this is a strong thing, and if they wanted to have it in the game, and if they really had like the mindset to put that into the game, and this is the insane power that we're gonna give you with that one, uh then maybe there should be like a downside to it, something to even things out and something to make you consider like, do I want to use that one? Do I want to go like balls deep, and do I want to use that one? Can I work around its negative effect? For example, for if you're going to have that one, just remove the immunity. Like for example, you're okay, you're doing like, you're popping the corpses, you're getting your cooldown reduced, you're automating your corpse explosion setup, or you're making it like detonate dead in PoE, like you are cycloning detonating dead. This is what it feels like. Okay, so give it a something like really bad, like you are vulnerable while you're doing it. Like blood mist doesn't make you immune, it makes you vulnerable, for example, or something like that. I don't know, or at least remove the vulnerability or Because now it's just, yeah. And other things like there was, let's go for the, can I, it's shit that I cannot search like just by typing, but let's go with offensive. And there are ones for, barbarian, where you get like uh 80% crit or whatever, just straight up crit chance for your whirlwind. And why wouldn't you use that? Why wouldn't you use that? I mean, crit chance for your whirlwind. You want to go whirlwind? This is what you're gonna use. Blizzard tells you to use it because there's no other option and there's no downside to it, and you're gonna use it. I'm not saying all of these are like that. Uh, some of them are just, again, situational, like conditional percentage bonuses to you doing something. Like if you're going, like if you're attacking with this, have this bonus, and it's, there's no thought behind it. You're not actually building a, you're not going towards a solution to your class mechanic. You're not trying to work around something that, for example, for, okay, if I do this, if I go like that, if I go balls deep with that one, I'm gonna be super squishy, or I'm not gonna have the resource to do it, or I'm gonna be slow, or I'm gonna be randomly degen, or something like that. And now I gotta think about what should I, what item should I use to offset that one, and what could help me negate the other thing. And it makes you like, it's it's like a loop that makes you solve problems in your game, in your character, that once you've achieved, like once you've done it, once you've made it all click together, and it works, and it's a sense of it's a sense of achievement. And you like, you not that you're gonna feel better about yourself, or your dick's gonna increase by an inch or anything, but certainly you're gonna feel that you've accomplished something in that game, and that game's rewarded you for doing it. Now you're strong. You've passed a certain benchmark, and maybe you're smart. But it's a thing, and you solve the problem, and you've made your build work, and it's not something that everyone sees written on the item and can just outright use whenever they want to use that skill. And I just think that for the longevity of the game, stuff like that should be considered more over stuff like do this and have this percent more damage on that. And that's about it. We can't talk much about other shit because we've yet to see like the nightmare dungeons and all that. Again, the dungeons already said that. Like, I've noticed certain recycleness. I don't know if that's a word. The dungeons, when you do some of them, you end up feeling like you're doing rifts because the bosses at the end are just, okay. Kazra Abomination, 5 times already. I've killed the Kazra Abomination like in 5 different dungeons. It feels like you're encountering randomly, like the Skeleton King, or that blighter fist or guy with the tentacles from the ground with him D3, or the demon, winged demon, or Iswol with the frozen or orbs. And it feels like that a bit. So I just really hope that this is not just a, dungeons are not the new name for rifts in D4, because we've seen a lot of things renamed, like attack, defense. I'm not I'm not 100% sure that's the case, but